Hello, my friends, and welcome to Five for the Future for this week, the week of June 17th. 1 week late due to vacation and illness, but I'm happy to be here with you this week to talk about the 5 topics that stood out to me recently as signals of change that could impact your small business. I'll summarize the stories and share why you should care. Ready to get started? Here are our 5 topics for this week. AI versus journalists, digital marketing for skeptics, commercial real estate is hot, politics and small business, and tech bros are the worst kind of bro. All right, let's begin with our story number 1, AI versus journalists. AI startup Perplexity offers a cool new feature called Perplexity Pages, essentially AI curated news. Cool, I guess Five for the Future will be out of business soon. But good news for me, Perplexity is in trouble for Pages because it essentially just full-on plagiarizes from news sources, text and images, with not very transparent citations of sources. Tisk tisk. Some news sources are at least trying to make money off of AI, like The Atlantic and Vox Media, that both signed licensing deals with OpenAI to provide access to their content for a fee. A shift from the past when AI tools just blatantly stole information without asking for permission. At least journalists know that AI can't take their job because it needs them to do the work so the AI tools can steal it, or license it, I guess. But watch out if you're a financial analyst, as AI is already doing your job better than you can. So what does this mean for you and your small business? Well, I sure hope you aren't ignoring AI still. I've seen a couple articles on how AI could do the job of a CEO. So think about how you might be able to offload some of your tasks to AI tools. I certainly don't see businesses being run by AI anytime soon, but for now, be sure to cite your sources if you're relying on AI to help you generate any marketing content, and you'll be fine for now. What might the future look like? Well, according to Elon Musk, we'll have AI that is smarter than any one human probably around the end of next year. Good thing there are lots of us humans, not just the one. And according to others, we don't really know what AI can do, and it isn't really very smart just yet. So I imagine a future where we become so dependent on AI tools that we forget what life was like back in old-fashioned 2024 when we had to spend all our time answering emails and scheduling meetings. AI will be great for some things, of that I'm sure, so start paying attention. All right, moving on to story number 2, digital marketing for skeptics. All these AI tools might make it easier for you to find answers online, but they certainly don't make it easier for customers to find your business online. If nearly every question is answered by Google and AI, then there's no need for them to find your website and learn more about your business. It can be a real challenge for your content to stand out among the big players and the big spenders. And Google isn't here to help. It's here to make money for itself. And AI tools are only making the problem worse. On top of that, scammers are getting better and better at mimicking your retail websites and tricking customers into thinking they're buying products from you. Then they're either selling cheap knockoffs or just taking money and selling nothing at all and leaving you to get all the customer complaints. So what does this mean for you and your small business? How can you stand out these days? First, let me tell you what not to do. Don't use Twitter, X's chatbot Grok. It is designed to be sarcastic and may even curse at your potential customers while only being able to put together very basic content and images. Skip. One thing you could do, hire some Gen Z employees eager to take on the side gig of recording their job with you and sharing it on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Did you know that 2.2 million people watch 27-year-old electrician Lexi add utility outlets to power poles? Imagine what something like that could do for your business. Content still matters, and the more unique and authentic, the better. So what might the future look like? Well, in the future, content will still matter, and the more unique and authentic, the better. Deja vu. No, really, imagine a future where AI steps in and takes over our online world. We're almost there today, and we've barely begun. One scary story that portends an even scarier future, online communities that use AI to respond to individuals looking for a connection and community as if they are human. Eesh. So far, it's just Meta doing this, responding to posts if no human responds within an hour, so you don't feel so alone. Yes, this could most definitely be a version of Black Mirror. And with that, let's move on to story number 3. Commercial real estate is hot? Perhaps I need to have an AI tool summarize my own past Five for the Future content, because I could swear it wasn't that long ago that all the news about commercial real estate was negative. Empty buildings, building owners in foreclosure, all the bad things about owning commercial property. And now, all of a sudden, commercial real estate is hot again, especially restaurants and retail. Didn't see that coming, did you? Apparently, years of little construction have helped push retail availability to near record lows, with retail vacancy at about 4%. On top of that, with consumers spending just over half of their food budget on food away from home last year, the restaurant business is thriving as well, and filling spots vacated during COVID. So what does this mean for you and your small business? This is good news if you own any commercial real estate. You might even consider subdividing your own space to bring on another tenant or an extra tenant and some other income streams. It could bode well for the value of your real estate as well. If you don't own your own real estate, then I guess this signal of change mainly means things are looking good in the economy as people are back to shopping and eating out. Or either that or your rent is about to go up. So what might the future look like? I'm sure that the commercial real estate market will continue to be cyclical. I can't imagine a future where lease space is always full and rents are always going up. But I do recommend that you consider a future where your business, or an LLC separate from your business, owns the space where you work, or a future where you add commercial property to your income stream. All right, let's move on to our story number 4, politics and small business. I hope you're paying attention to politics. Yikes, did I just say that? More specifically, I hope you're paying attention to funding opportunities specific to small businesses that are out there right now. The White House recently released a guidebook detailing billions of dollars of climate and clean energy funding opportunities for small businesses that covers all federal agencies. And that's on top of another $100 million for small businesses that manufacture vehicle parts that could be used in the EV industry. And there is currently a bipartisan bill, yep, you heard that, bipartisan, working to make it easier for small businesses to enter contracts with the federal government by making the contracts to be written in, and I quote, plain English rather than all the many acronyms used by the government. But it's not all sunshine and free money. Small businesses are justifiably worried about tariffs under either presidential candidate, which are likely to have a negative impact on small business supply chains. And inflation, even though it's slowing, is still having an impact on small businesses, especially in terms of salaries and insurance rates. However, in a recent American Express survey, 95% of small business owners remain overwhelmingly happy as business owners and are in it for the long haul. So that's good news. So maybe just break down and fill out that BOI form after all. You've got nothing to hide, right? So what does this all mean for you and your small business? Well, set aside some time to look into opportunities to do business with your state or the federal government. It can't hurt to look, and you might be surprised at what opportunities are there. The good news from an election year standpoint is that both parties are pro-small business, or so they say, and there are likely to be opportunities and policies designed to help if you're paying attention. So what might the future look like? Perhaps in the future, the barriers to entry for working with the government will be lessened, as maybe AI tools can help match your business to state or federal needs with funding. I'm not sure even I can be that optimistic about the bureaucracy that is our government, though. All right, let's move on to our final story, story number 5. Tech bros are the worst kind of bro. So, question. How does your salary compare to recent tech and private equity CEOs? You can thank Elon Musk's latest 10-year, $44.9 billion, that's billion with a B, deal with Tesla for the exorbitant pay packages, even though he is a bit of an outlier. Salaries of $50 million or more are becoming more common, and the median CEO pay in 2023 was around $16 million. Beyond the work these CEOs hopefully accomplish for all that money, tech bros also keep busy with some unusual hobbies, like rock climbing, mixed martial arts, competitive yacht racing, cricket, kiteboarding, trapeze, roller hockey, and collecting luxury cars. Oh, and doomsday prepping in case of a nuclear war. And in their spare time, they all love to be interviewed on the top-rated tech podcast, the Lex Fridman podcast, where all the top alpha male tech bros go to chat. But don't worry, it's equal opportunity. Just over 10% of his podcast guests have been women. Tech isn't the only bro-focused industry. Financial firms like Goldman Sachs hire even amounts of men and women at entry level, but women drop out much more frequently, feeling undervalued and expected to act like men, leaving more men in the upper leadership positions. And speaking of that, did you know that of the 37,000 stock exchange board members, there are 566 named Richard or Dick? The good news is that there are now more Black women and more Asian women than there are men named Richard, but half as many Hispanic women as Richards on boards. These boards are still 90% white. Cosmetics company e.l.f. pointed this out in their So Many Dicks, So Few Else campaign recently to promote diversity. So think about, what does this mean for you and your small business? As a reminder, we covered a couple topics here, starting with super high salaries of tech bros and private equity firms, segueing into weird tech bro hobbies, and then moving to the lack of diversity among boards. I guess my overriding theme here is, aren't you glad you aren't a part of these crazy worlds? Sure, I guess a pay package of $16 million wouldn't be so bad, but I'm not sure I'm willing to sacrifice myself and my morals in exchange for that money. Would you? What might the future look like? I'd like to say that in the future, salaries will be more equitable, boards will be more diverse, and there will be both tech bros and gals, but I don't know that we'll get there in the next generation. Do you? All right, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. I hope these 5 topics and my take at them get you thinking about how these signals of change could ultimately impact your small business. Join me again in 2 weeks. And for those who subscribe, take a look at the 2 bonus stories for paid newsletter subscribers. Thanks.